What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Full Court Talk. This is episode 76. CJ's back in the closet.
You already know.
How you guys doing?
Good, man.
All good. Episode 76 for the MVP on the 76ers, huh?
Hey, at this point, just give him the MVP after the game winner. That was
Facts.
insane. And then he got Jokic. He's in prison. It's tough to see. So obviously last week we were talking about awards, and we said, or I had said Jordan Poole was pretty much a lock for a finalist. He was not a lock for finalists in the MIP consideration. So what do you guys think about him not being named a finalist? The finalists were DeJounte Murray, John Morant, and Darius Garland. So what do you guys think?
I have to give Myles some credit for putting Darius Garland up there. We all know he's been playing great, but he was pretty much overlooked when it comes to this award. And shout out to him for putting that name out there. But I'm not going to say that these guys that are there are not deserving of it. It's just we know Jordan Poole deserves it just as much. And to not have him up there is pretty disrespectful, considering of how much of a jump that he made from last season to now. I know people are seeing what he's capable of doing, in these first two games of the playoffs, as well as how hot he got during the regular season. But I mean, if you ask me, I think this is the ploy. Well, not a ploy, but it's just an easy way for Ja to get that award because he has to win something. And a lot of NBA players, including Draymond, has credited him for being an MVP candidate, which we know that he's not going to get. So, as I said in the previous podcast, Ja has to win something, and it looks like this is the way to do it. So I think he's going to end up getting it, but it is disrespectful to not put Jordan Poole out there. And I know DeJounte Murray became an all-star, and Darius Garland leading Cleveland. No disrespect to those guys, but at least consideration. I don't know. I said this last podcast, but make co-awards a thing, right? So make co-finalists a thing too.
have like six finalists instead of three.
Yeah, not for real. But no, I just want to say that, like I said, again, not in any shape or form a Warrior fan, but Jordan Poole has been balling, man. So he deserves to be up there at least.
Do you guys know the Stephen A. Smith meme where he's like, I'm here to tell you, we don't care. We don't care. That's me. I actually thought about it since last week too. I will admit, bias got into my decision making. I do think he should have been a finalist, definitely over Ja, as we discussed. Like, I don't think Ja should even be in there, but since he is, he'll probably win. But yeah, just the fact, obviously we know his story from the G League to a rotation player and then filling in for Steph and Clay first and then Steph and just keeping them afloat. Yeah, he should definitely be in there. Unfortunately, he's not. But again, I don't really care. But I can't argue that he should have been in there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it. All four of these guys have had crazy seasons. We know Darius Garland kind of took the reins from Colin Sexton after he got injured. DeJounte Murray's had come back from a torn ACL, I believe. So, and then Ja, obviously, I mean, MVP numbers, 27, something just a crazy season. So, unfortunately, I understand it, but I'm still pissed. I love Jordan Poole. What he's done, I watched him all season. I think I've seen a lot of people say that Jordan Poole was doing this last season. To a certain point, they're right, but at the same time, he was backing up Brad Wanamaker towards the beginning of the season, and he was obviously in the G League, so I miss him to this day, man.
But retire that number, man.
I don't remember what number he was, man. But it's disrespectful to me because Jordan Poole has he's worked his ass off to get there, and then to really culminate and people really fighting for him to get that award and then not even being named a finalist is disrespectful. I would see the conspiracy theory of them just not putting him in there for Ja to get it. Maybe they're trying to stir something up between the Grizzlies and the Warriors because we know there's a rivalry brewing. But either way, it's frustrating as a Warriors fan. But it's not going to matter when we get a ring. So, someone will win.
Ooh, I like it. Spicy.
Hey,
Finals
respect.
MVP over Steph.
Whoa. Steph's going to get off the bench. No.
Hey, give him the keys, Spence, and you could trade Wardell to where, man.
Hey man, Russ is expiring, dude. Throw some THT in your life. You're good.
You guys see what the Lakers are offering?
Yeah.
THT.
Kendrick Nunn.
Hey, honestly, I'm just encouraged that they're willing to trade the picks. That's what I took from that. I'm still waiting on the Malcolm Brogdon deal.
Hey, Spence.
Not gonna get it for THT and Kendrick Nunn.
Yeah.
Hey, none better. None better.
None better.
Well, for him to come out in the exit interviews and say, like, I'm picking up my option, no doubt about it. Like, you don't have to, you can like dance around and be like, we'll see what happens, and then go accept it. You don't have to be like straight up,
Yeah.
I feel for you guys because this is not a fun time. But it is what it is. Next season, I think you guys are gonna be better next season. Let's just say that.
Oh,
There's no way.
There's no possible way for it to be worse. Literal rock bottom.
It could get worse. But well, let's hope not.
Facts.
But since we're talking about Russ, saw this on someone else's podcast. We're gonna play like, who would you rather have, Russell Westbrook or this other player? All the current players, or we're talking about all current players at their current level of play. This might get a little disrespectful, but so the first player, we're going to talk about DJ Augustine. Who would you rather have, DJ Augustine on the Lakers with the full roster or Russell Westbrook?
Can we take into consideration like their contracts or just as a player?
Contracts too.
No, DJ Augustine, easy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take DJ Augustine, bro. I'm sorry. Sorry, Russ.
I'm not sorry. I'm fed up, bro.
Yeah. Considering the contract, DJ Augustine, I've been a huge fan since Texas.
Yeah, I'm going to go with DJ Augustine too, just because I like the disrespect. Next one, Tyus Jones.
That's easy. Tyus Jones. Solid as backup.
Bro,
Pulled in for yeah.
Come on, man.
Duke Tyus, you already know.
For you.
No, I want to go off of what Myles said. He is a solid backup. You see that turnover ratio that he has, definitely one of the league's best. And I'm not saying it's high. It's very low. Turnover to assist ratio that he has, solid backup. And come on, man. They got to support the Duke team. So I would take Tyus Jones any day, bro. And willing passer. So I'll take him.
He might be like the prototypical LeBron point guard too. Can catch and shoot, can create on his own, passes the ball. That'd be a good pickup. But I don't think the Memphis Grizzlies are getting rid of him anytime soon. Since we're talking about a Jones, let's go Trey Jones. Not a shooter, but what do you guys think?
With Trey, he's a more athletic version of Tyus, and he's recently been getting burned with San Antonio. But I'm still gonna have to go with Russ on this one, just because Trey doesn't translate the way that Tyus does. I think he still needs a little bit more seasoning there, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Russ for this one.
Yeah, I'm going Russ too. Surprising that I am, but I guess there is a handful of players that I would not take over him.
Can't base Myles. Let's go with the next one. This one, I like this one. Patrick Beverly.
Man, I wouldn't take Pat Bev. I wouldn't. With what's been going on between the two, I love how he plays defense and obviously what he can bring to the table. But I think it's a pride thing that I'm not taking Pat Bev just because I want to see Russ win that matchup every single time. So even though it wouldn't make my team any better, I'd keep Russ.
I'm taking Pat Bev. He's still valuable as a defender and just as a pest. And again, I'm very fed up with Russ. Just the whole season was very unpleasant. He had quotes saying that like, "Oh, I had no expectations like of winning. I'm just here to be home." Like, dude, get out of here with that.
Yeah, and then I think I don't know if you guys saw what he said about or like what had been coming out after Frank Vogel, like how he refused to change and like he was kind of being disrespectful to Frank. So I can understand why you guys are fed up. I'm going Pat Bev too. Seeing
Yep.
him and LeBron on the same team would be hilarious, I think. So for that alone, I would just pick him. Next one, Gabe Vincent, the Heat point guard. Kind of came out this season. I think he's been playing really well.
He's been hooping, and he's been a pest for Trae Young too.
Yeah.
And bro, you know what? I don't know who said it. I forgot who, but if you're a developing player, Miami Heat will find you and they will develop you even further. And for that alone, even though we have PTSD from Kendrick Nunn, I would take Gabe Vincent, bro. Just because seeing what he can do right now, stretching the floor, playing good D, and he plays with a chip on his shoulder. Another undrafted guy. So, I would take him, but please don't have any bone bruises.
Bone bruises. Yeah, I'm going Gabe Vincent too. Had a great year. Heat had injuries here and there, so he filled in very nicely. And yeah, actually plays smart. So I'm going with Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, I think he's pretty similar to Tyus Jones, prototypical guard, can shoot, can pass, plays defense. This next one, I think, more so a slap in the face to the trades that the Lakers have done. Lonzo Ball. Taking the injury history, too.
Yeah, also take Lonzo. I don't care about the injuries.
Hey, anytime he wants to come home, man, come home. Anytime, bro. Zoe was the perfect guard to put alongside LeBron. I'll go back to a game where they both went off Charlotte. That was beautiful, man. That game where they both went crazy. It just goes to show, and they got love for each other, man. And Zoe knows what happens when you play with LeBron, and so just the type of player that he is, I'm taking Zoe.
Yeah, I think Zoe needed to go away to really develop his shot, and then I think he would be perfect now. So I'm going Zoe. I think I'm a huge Lonzo fan, so I'm cool with it. Last one. I think this is a little bit disrespectful. Jose Alvarado.
Hey, does he get away with the sneaky back cuts to steal it?
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Hey, you know what? Hey, shout out to him for balling, earning that contract. I hated him at Georgia Tech. He always killed Duke. I hated this guy so much. But no disrespect to the guy. I'm taking Russ. Even though Jose Alvarado has been playing well for the Pelicans. One thing that comes to mind is, can he shoot? Yes, I can. You know what? He probably shoots better than Russ, but I'm gonna keep it with Russ. I'm gonna keep it with Russ.
I'm taking Jose Alvarado. Yeah, dude, that video is funny of him saying, "Can he shoot? Yeah, I can shoot." That was funny. Yeah. Though I think a player that comes to mind that I would not take over Russ is like Kent Bazemore. I think you said that earlier, Spencer. But yeah, man, I'm taking Jose Alvarado over Russ.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jose Alvarado just because he offers a lot more in terms of what he can do. Even if he's a bench guard, like the dude just plays with passion. I think Russ over the last season has not. But I think this whole thing is just to say like Russ has really overstayed his welcome to Laker fans, and I think even the Lakers organization. So it's been tough to see because he's fallen off a deep cliff this season. So we'll see if he can kind of rebuild that next season. But he's not going to do it with the Lakers. There's just no way you guys have him on the roster. And if he is on the roster, he's not going to suit up.
But there's no way he can be on the roster. I mean, there is a way because people have said it and that is possible, but I don't know. I think LeBron would not tolerate him being on the roster still.
He said he didn't make the roster decisions, but before the season, he said he had fun making the roster. So I don't know.
Oh my god.
You know what? I'm gonna play the other side, and as much as I hated what Russ brought to the table this season, I would love to have him have a redemption type season next season. Just because at the end of the day, I still like him as a player. Just wasn't a good fit. It wasn't a match made in heaven with the Lakers. And if you can, find that juice and play with it again, I think he'll be all right. And if he goes to another team like the Hornets or he goes to a team like the Pacers, I have no doubt that he can show it again. But the storylines are there. Hometown kid, having success after a turmoil season. I would love to see it. Even though everybody's fed up, including myself. But if there's a way for him to stay on the roster, it's not going to be far-fetched. It can happen. And as disappointing as it would be, if he has a redemption type season, like, I'm ready to eat my words, but not for Kuzma. All right, just putting it out there. I'm not going to put it for Kuzma.
Hey man, I got love for you, but I'm not willing to take that chance. I want him gone tomorrow, dude.
That's fair.
God, like how people, especially like Warrior fans, felt about him like 5 years ago. Granted, I don't think it was fair that much fair, but like I feel and I see it now. But also Russ was like 10 times worse this season. So
that's true. That's
God,
also
so frustrating, man.
But I think the thing that says, like, he didn't have a bad season. He had a good season for an NBA player. It's just like, for what people were like expecting out of Russ, it was a bad season. 18 points is not going to cut it, especially with his efficiency and the turnovers and all that. It was a bad season. But going on to something I forgot to tell you guys about, but DeMarcus Cousins. I don't know if you guys saw the interview or read the interview with Mark J. Spears, and he spoke on his time in Sacramento, and he said they sucked before I got there. They sucked when I was there. They sucked after I left. And then he said, what did Zach do for me besides draft me? I did more for them than they did for me. And he said, I had 2 owners, 3 GMs, 7 coaches in 7 years. So how do you guys feel about him coming out about this? And then also, you guys probably saw what George Karl said. I don't have the tweet up here, but he has this really hateful relationship with George Karl. So what do you guys think about that?
I think DMC is right, man. He brought a lot to the Kings. He brought that flair. He brought that toughness, and he made Kings fans. I can't speak on Kings fans because I don't know how passionate they are about their team, but he made them something he brought them something to be excited about again. And we all saw what DMC was like in his prime years before the injuries, and so I think he's fair. I don't want to say that he's disrespecting the franchise, but he's fair with his comments because it was frustrating. Like he said, he had so many coaches, he had different owners, right? And in terms of George Karl's tweet, it was pretty disrespectful. But when I think of that tweet, I think of my retweet of somebody quoting him and saying, "My brother in Christ, all 29 teams would have paid him." Dude, that was hilarious. You know what I mean? Like, because DMC was a draft pick, right? A lottery draft pick. And basically what George Karl is trying to make out is that, they gave him an opportunity, this and that. And, the 29 teams thing is hilarious because he's right. Like any other team, given that pick, would have chosen DMC, giving him that chance. But at the end of the day, even though on his end, it was kind of like, harmful to the Kings of what he said. I think he has a right to be frustrated with what he said because, the guy wants to win and he can only do so much for the Kings. And, as a player in the NBA, you want that support from, your front office. And if you don't show control in your front office, then how can you control a stable environment with your team? So I think it's fair, but I think he maybe could have said it nicer, but we can't expect that from DMC. So.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys know how I feel about the Kings. They're one of the poverty franchises, not even just in the NBA, but in all of team sports. So I am 100% on Cousins' side here. They were not relevant before he got there. He got there and made them relevant since the Chris Webber Kings. And yeah, George Karl is just a hater. I feel like he is low-key racist, which will come up in the next topic. So I don't like. Maybe he's a decent coach. He had the Bucks team with Gary Payton and then Melo, obviously in Denver. But yeah, he's a hater. Cousins was the best big man at the time. Maybe he would still be in the conversation today had he not got hurt. Always hate like his story and IT's story just like makes me sad. At least they're still playing, I guess, but still, yeah. But I'm 100% on Cousins' side here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, DeMarcus Cousins has been through so much in his time in the NBA, and I think he's one of the most misunderstood players, I would believe. Before or after DeMarcus Cousins, their best draft pick was Isaiah Thomas, and that's it. De'Aaron Fox has been really good for them, but they haven't won shit. Tyrese Halliburton, they dealt him away before they could even make something. Davion Mitchell, maybe he could be something. But the point is that the Kings are one of the worst organizations in recognizing talent. And when they do recognize talent, they usually just trade them for nothing. So, and they did that with Boogie. They traded him for Buddy Hield. And Buddy Hield was good, but Buddy Hield is not DeMarcus caliber. So, like Myles said, they're a poverty franchise. There's no way around that. And with that being said, George Karl is for sure racist from what I've read about him, from his comments about Melo. And I don't remember the other teammate. It might have been Marcus Camby, saying like they don't have the personal drive because they didn't have fathers in their life, something like that.
That was the comment. Yes.
He's made a ton
Ridiculous,
of like just out of pocket comments, like fully like racist comments.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he is one of the weirdest people I've read about. And I don't like George Karl at all. And seeing his hatred for DeMarcus like this, I mean, I get DeMarcus was like he had a temper, but like that's no reason to like hate him because he played with a passion. Like DeMarcus was one of the best centers at the time before his injury. Like I think DeMarcus would have been the number one center maybe a couple years ago. Maybe not now because he's older, but a couple years ago he would have been at the top. But torn Achilles, torn ACL, like he just had so many injuries pile up. So it happened, but it's ridiculous that George Karl even said like, "Oh, we paid you $50 million." Like you were there for one season. You weren't even like a part of his life for that long. So I don't like hearing that. It's stupid. But going on from another racist person to a racist crowd, let's say. So how do you guys feel about Kyrie Irving flashing middle fingers to the crowd in Boston during Game 1?
Bro, it was hilarious. You know, especially after the comments that he made, like, "Hey guys, let's just move on. Let's just hoop, this and that," right? And then to see him let the crowd get to him, like, you know what I mean? Like the middle fingers in the back of his head was just hilarious, bro. When I was watching the game, I was like, why is he doing that? And then when I saw the other angle, oh man, it was hilarious. But hey, it was great, bro, because, you know, we all know Utah, Boston, crowds like that, man, you don't even have to be at the games. Let your imaginations run fly of what they would say to other players, you know? And I think it's also pretty sick how you know, Kyrie did all those and proceeded to hoop Game 1. Not Game 2, because yikes. But Game 1, you know, he proceeded to hoop after doing all those gestures to the crowd. And you know, if I was Kyrie, I probably would have done some stuff like that, said some things, got fined, all that stuff. But I think it was hilarious. And, you know, he tried to be as maybe discreet over it as possible. But the fact that, you know, he got caught, everybody with their camera phones and stuff, I think it's hilarious. But, I mean, it's good for the NBA, right? you always need that villain. Trey, Reggie Miller, in the Garden, and now every time Kyrie goes back, I mean, it dates back to him stomping on the Leprechaun, right? So I think it's good for the playoffs. Definitely gives storylines to the matchups, and he can't do that and then proceed to drop 10 points. Hopefully he bounces back because I don't want to see Boston win. Shout out Tatum, but I don't want to see them win. So yeah, I think it's hilarious, man. Seeing him do that.
Yeah, there's a lot here. First, yeah, I just love the fact that he was comfortable going at the crowd like that. He probably knew he was going to get fined, which is BS because, again, like CJ said, let your imagination run wild. Like I couldn't imagine being a black man there, even in this day. Imagine like 20, 30 years ago. Like they're saying anything and everything. And honestly, a middle finger is like such a little jab back at them. And then yeah, you said he proceeded to hoop even though they lost. But yeah, like, and again, like maybe if he flipped off a kid, sure, that's probably not necessary. But 90% sure that all the bad comments were grown ass people. So just because they're fans doesn't make them immune to criticism like that. And then yeah, I think it made today's game like very intense. It was just a good game overall. I know it's pretty blasphemous, but I do want to see Boston win just because the chaos that would ensue on Twitter and seeing the treatment that KD would get. I tweeted tonight after that, like, oh, KD can't get it done without the best role players and supporting cast in NBA history. Yeah, man, shit ain't nice over there.
Facts.
Yeah, I think you guys said it best, but I think we should normalize this, at least players getting in, like, not arguments, but talking back to the crowd. Players are not zoo animals, and I think I think most arenas, most sporting events, a lot of fans treat them like such. There's no reason you should be yelling at grown men like "fuck you," like "bitch," you're a pussy. Like, there's just no reason. That's just so out of pocket. If you're gonna heckle them, talk about the game at least, not just attack them personally.
Yes.
Let's normalize what Kyrie did, at least in every sporting event. You don't want to get to the point where it's like Malice in the Palace kind of stuff, but there's no reason that NBA players should take the high road because you're paying to see them. And it just feels weird to me. But I don't know if you guys saw what KD said about the whole thing. He basically diagnosed them and said that it's rooted in love. They once loved you, had life-altering experiences coming to games, watching you play. So when he gets ripped from them in a trade, it feels like a piece of them is gone too. It was very funny to see KD stick up for him like that and then go 0-10 in the second half. But it's tough out here,
Man,
he had it good at Golden State.
I love KD, bro. I hate to see that, man. I hate to see it so much. But for those watching, if you guys want to know and let your imaginations run fly, like I said, Spencer's talked about this previously, watch Winning Time, HBO. Not really that accurate, but look at episode 6, man. When Boston and LA play against one another. Right? The things that the crowds were saying, although some of those were exaggerated, at the same time, they're quite accurate. So something to consider.
I feel like they're pretty accurate. I don't think the show is 100% accurate because I'm sure you saw what Jerry West said. He wants to be retracted from it.
Yeah.
And you're fully caught up, obviously, to episode 6.
Yep.
Tell me the Larry Bird one wasn't like spot on, the way he looks at least.
The Larry Bird. So we're talking about the character that plays Larry Bird and his mannerisms and all that stuff. For those that are watching and are not familiar, it is 100% accurate. Spencer is right, all the way down to him getting the can. I don't know what he was spitting. Was it tobacco? I don't know.
It's probably tobacco.
Yeah, for him spitting tobacco. The mannerisms are on point. It's hilarious. And, everybody that's been around NBA history and watched as much as Spencer, Miles, and I have known that people talk about Larry Bird like he doesn't give a damn. Just wants to hoop, straight killer. Everything was on point, man. So out of all the episodes so far, this is probably one of my favorite ones. So we're not getting paid to advertise, but if you want to, you don't have to be a Laker fan. Watch that series, bro. Like, it's a good one.
I think most of the castings have been like spot on. I think Pat Riley feels kind of weird to me. I didn't like that casting as much.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the person who's playing Dr. J.
Yeah, it was
viral. He doesn't look great, but
no,
it's pretty funny at least. I know that he's like a YouTube dunker, and like he's nasty. So
yeah, no, definitely. And like I said, you guys need to catch up on this series on HBO Max because, man, it is hilarious. And the only thing I am concerned about though is season 2. I'm not sure if it's the Kobe one. They have to get that right, and they have to watch what they do because
that's gonna be dangerous.
It is gonna be dangerous, and Jerry West is already complaining, and he wants a piece of those guys, man. And another thing you got to watch out for is Shaq. You don't depict them properly, it's a wrap. It is a wrap, and these guys have to be very careful because Shaq is very involved, man. And let's not disrespect my GOAT right here. But everything else, like we discussed, Myles, Larry Bird in that latest episode was just hilarious, man. It's hilarious.
I didn't see it, but I heard.
Yeah,
dude.
That's probably the best episode yet.
Yeah, dude. No, definitely. It's crazy how accurate Magic is too, bro. Like,
they got him.
The actor's really good. Yeah,
he's really good.
His mannerisms down to a T, bro.
Yeah,
even the way that he talks. And I remember seeing this article. I know it's TMZ, but Magic's not a fan. He's not a fan of how they are portraying him. But man, that guy does a good job. So
they must be like, well, because like we know Magic wasn't the best guy in his younger years.
Yeah,
and I think that a lot of like younger kids don't really know that, and so like it's kind of exposing him now.
Yeah,
and I bet you he's probably watched the whole thing, and maybe it gets worse down the line. But if anyone's got a right to be mad, it's definitely Kareem, bro. Kareem looked really bad in the first couple episodes. So we'll see how it goes. I don't think this lasts more than a season. I don't think they can get past it. I hope it does because it's a great show, but there's just no way.
Yeah.
They didn't even get the Lakers approval, man. I don't know how they're doing this.
Oh yeah, like the whole Lakers as an organization are like united that they hate the show.
Yeah.
Even though some people within the organization think that it's really good. Like it's just good drama, dude. And like it's based on Showtime. I've heard many good things. I wanted to bring up the Jerry West part of it. I know his character is very, very dramatized, and then someone had to tweet like, when he wanted an apology, he's like, "Oh, that's something that the Jerry West character would do in the show."
That's fact.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It makes the Bus family look pretty bad because of how Jerry was, and so it's tough. Jeannie looks fine so far, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah,
I like her.
Yeah.
John C. Reilly as Dr. Bus.
Oh, he's perfect. I think he's perfect. Great casting.
Yeah, definitely.
But Myles got to catch up.
No, dude, I'm trying because I'm trying to finish Moon Knight before Doctor Strange comes out. So that's the order. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. I understand.
But that's gonna do it for us in episode 76. We're getting close to 100. We're getting there. But check down links down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. But that's gonna do it for us. So we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.